It should take a second to go ahead and connect. All right. Guys, we are live. Welcome back to What the FiGPiN. How is everyone doing this evening?
Good.
Good.
How are you?
Very well.
Very, very well.
Good here.
Alex, how is it going today?
It's Taco 222 Tuesday, so
Yes.
we're doing good.
We won't see this date for another 100 years, right?
Yeah.
They're too bad. Too bad.
Battle, what about you, man? How's your
man.
snow in New Mexico, man?
No snow, a little bit of clouds rolling in today. We had some good snow last week, which was pretty cool. I was supposed to be on the road driving to Texas, but I told Casey, there's no way I can miss today. I'm not going to be on the road. I'm staying, so now I got to get like 5 in the morning to drive out to Texas, but it's all worth it.
Very cool. And then we have the very distinct pleasure of introducing Erik. You guys might know him as FiGPiN Art Dude. That's what his social media handles are. So Erik, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for the invite, man. This is fun.
Definitely, yeah. So as we were chatting here, we just kind of talked with each other and we realized that we are in every time zone right now. So we're going from 6:30, 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30. So guys, welcome for wherever you're joining us. We appreciate your support. Make sure you're hitting the like button. And are you guys seeing any comments yet? Or Alex, I don't know if you can see it. I'm having an issue with my computer, so I think you might need to handle that for whatever reason.
Yeah, let me take a look. I had our agenda up, but I can pull you two up at YouTube instead.
So, Erik, this is all about you today, man. So it's definitely exciting to go ahead and get to chat with you and learn a little bit more about FiGPiN from, the art and style standpoint. But, we first want to go ahead and get to know you a little bit. So do you have, what's your background? Like, were you always into art? Did you go ahead and, were you trained, professionally trained in it? Or is it something that you just picked up and, have been able to make it a career?
Well, if you go all the way back, as a little kid, it was draw, run around outside, ride your bike, play some wiffle ball, go inside and draw, right? My brother and I always had all kinds of stuff going on where we're making up stuff. So we would draw stuff. He would write all the stuff down and organize everything. And I would draw so we would make leagues, right? And so I'd draw the team logos and the uniforms, and he would put together all the, the schedules and the stats. And then we'd go outside and we'd play wiffle ball or ride our bikes or whatever we were doing, playing with Hot Wheels. So that was sort of always my job, right? Was the drawer. And he's actually got some talent too. So I think it might be the one thing he let me have, and I ran with it. I think it's just something I was born to want to do. And over the years, I think one thing you learn, I learned how to do it more and more. I had some really great teachers along the way, even in elementary school, and just inspired to always want to be an artist. I got out of high school and, I admittedly was not the best student. So I begged my parents, right? Like, can I go to art school instead of college? And it's like kind of on the promise that I'll always do it. And so far I've kept that promise.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I went to the Art Institute in Seattle, which is no longer a school that's open.
Okay.
But that was like a 2-year deal. So I was done. I was working as an artist out in the world by the time I was 20.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And
which was a long time ago. So
what art were you first into? I mean, had it just been like sketching, oil,
as a little kid, it was all about cartoons, man. Like, draw. I think I've told this story, so I'll keep it short. I've told this online before, but in 5th grade, my mom would always bring home all this paper from her work. And I don't know if you remember the old printers that had the little holes on the side. It was all perforated. So
Yep.
she would get all the extra sheets, and instead of throwing it in the recycle bin, she'd bring it home. And then every birthday and Christmas, I would always ask for pins, right? So we could make something in color and crayons. And for a while there, in 4th and 5th grade, I really, really, really got into peanuts and Snoopy in particular. I do thousands of them, right? Just over and over and over. And I had this one really great teacher that in 5th grade, she was just like, God, you have so many drawings of Snoopy. Like, what is it? And so we were talking about it. She took them all home, and then she bound them in a book, and she put it in the library in my elementary school that you could check out.
Cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I would go in and
that's
check out my
probably
own
pretty cool,
book,
man.
right? It had a little card in it, and then I would go and see who else checked it out. And it was like a kind of a DIY, like yarn, and cardboard kind of a book, but even better,
Dude,
Hey,
that's such an amazing thing, man.
First time being published is always awesome.
Yeah, right. I mean, there was a feeling, right, that was like, oh my God, like this, people want to see this. So this is really cool. I want this feeling forever,
Yeah.
So
That's neat.
yeah, it was really cool.
So when you were in school, like what does, getting an education in art look like? Is it you get a specialized field that you're looking into, or is it kind of a broad spectrum and then you have a chance to move into something, or what does that look like? Or what did your career look like in college?
That's a great question. When I was in art school, the first year, they really teach you about like perspective, and they introduce you to a lot more mediums that you don't get in high school, and life drawing, and typography. And back then, we would do type by hand, right? Because there was we were using computers back then.
Yeah.
So we really studied like how a font was constructed. And that was like a really interesting thing, because that's really how you draw things, right? You construct it from the ground up. You see all those animators, they're building little circles and lines, and it turns into a drawing. Like that's how we studied typography too. So
Wow.
that was really kind of an interesting, kind of the light bulb came on during those years. And then about halfway through, they start to say, your work really looks like this. And since it's only a 2-year program, they kind of get you into a lot of like specialized electives where you go, I want to be a cartoon guy. I wanted to have a comic strip. I want to illustrate, that's what I want to do. And so that was all the classes were about that for me at the end.
So then what, transitioning from that style of art into enamel pins, what does that transition look like? And was it difficult for you to move into the enamel pin world?
And why pins?
Why pins? Okay, so that's kind of a layered question. So coming out of art school was like, then it was like, oh, by the way, no one gets a comic strip coming out of our school. So go get a job at Kinko's, right? But I worked at a windsock company as a production artist, where I learned how to do silk screening, and I learned how to do a stat camera, and it was a lot of like concept drawing and production drawing, which is interesting now when I look back at it. Like all those things taught me things that there's all a little piece of that in what I do now. And I think that's natural for most artists, right? Like they take a little piece of everything and turn it into something more.
Yeah.
But then it moved into video games, where it was animation, like hand animation, digital painting, and interface design, which that was kind of a sidetrack, but character design, all that kind of stuff.
Did you ever make any videos?
For a while, I actually got out of being an artist for probably 10 years. I moved into a game designer and then a producer later at Big Fish Games, and once that ended, I said I really want to be an artist again. That's really what I don't think I'm living up to the promise, right, that I made. Even though I'm working with artists and doing art, I'm not living up to the promise. So I took some time, and I went and reinvented myself back to where I kind of was started a long time before that.
So I know Battle has that look on his face, because I have the same question. So is there any particular game that you worked on that we might know?
So we had a great company that I was one of many, an army of people. I don't want to overtake any credit for this, for these games, because they weren't me, right? But Backyard Sports is big feather in my cap. Like that was amazing. I've still friends that worked on those and that made those games that I still have friends of today of those. Pajama Sam and Putt game, Putt, The Car, Freddy Fish.
Very cool.
Those were all games from Humongous Entertainment where I worked for 13 years.
That's wild.
I went to Big Fish games, and probably the biggest hit I worked on there was Fairway Solitaire. I don't know if you ever, it's a golf themed solitaire game.
Yep.
For a while it was a big deal. It's funny thing is that they had made that game about 5 years before, and it was the game that everybody played, but it wasn't styled right or built right for the way games had changed, which was free to play, pay to win kind of games.
Yep.
So we went in and we gave it a full facelift, a full design kind of structural element, but the game mechanic was all the same. That was a really great experience.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So if we can just take a minute
Yeah.
here, I just wanted to go ahead and just say hello to some people. We have, joining us on chat, we have Zero, Cecilia. Thank you so much. So Erik, if you don't know Cecilia, she goes ahead and does graphics and updates everyone with what our unlock times are for any new pins coming out. So she's been a huge help for sure, and we always love supporting her. Yep. Mills Fam Collectibles, Chris Sherman, Dr. Graybush, Charity, Jason from Pops and Pins. We have one of your friends, I'm sure, Charles Ling.
I know Charles real well.
We have Mr. Van Harris, Legacy Fox. Another friend I'm sure you know, Statue Fanatic.
Yeah.
So guys, thank you so much, man. It's a pleasure to have you guys joining us. If you are just joining us, we have Erik with FiGPiN, one of the creators and co-founders, as well as, I guess, what's your official title, Erik? I'm not even sure if I know that.
Art
CAO, Chief Art Officer?
It's a funny question because we wrestled with that for the longest time because it all just seems so silly, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, you can't, art dude isn't really an official title, right? but as you can see, it's more my style, right? It's like, it's kind of an art guy. So it's principal artist. I mean, that's as fancy as I want to get. So that's kind of where we landed for me.
Nice. And so how big is your art team right now?
Right now, I have 2 internal guys. I got a guy named Derek who used to work at Humongous with me as well.
Okay.
I've known him for probably 20 years at this point. And then I have another guy named Jay Barber, who I actually went to high school with.
Wow.
Yeah, which is kind of crazy. And then I have a freelancer named Chris Hope, who lives on the East Coast, who's really been along the ride for many years with us, almost from the beginning. And he's done some of my favorite pins. And I just onboarded a new guy another friend of mine named Brian Fogg, who he's kind of learned the FiGPiN way, and he's probably above ankle deep at this point. So, it's good for everybody.
Just dive in and learn it, right? That's all you got to, that's best way to do it.
Yep.
And I know you've shared this before, but did you, you're walking down the street, you see some handsome bald man, and you guys start talking about FiGPiN. So what is that story about? How you guys, kind of started talking about FiGPiN.
Dan and I live in the same neighborhood, kind of. Okay. He's like 5 blocks away, and we had dogs that were the same age, 2 black labs, almost like twins. Wow. And he was just a really familiar guy. I'd see him all over the place. And then I ran into him one time, and our dogs started playing, and his kids were playing with the dogs, and him and I chatted for a while. I got to know what he was doing. And while I was at Big Fish, I actually called, and he was working at an agency down in Seattle. I called to have him do a project for Big Fish, some plush, and it didn't work out. And I don't even think that Big Fish made those, but him and I kind of went through that together. And fast forward about 2 years, he knew my brother because they have kids the same age. so they were playing sports against each other. My brother and him would coach against each other. So,
Nice.
and later I learned that Dan was really good friends with some of my friends from high school because he was at a neighboring school too. So there's a really good chance Dan and I knew each other, I don't know, 30 years ago at some point, drinking beer at some party, right? So, he calls me and says, "Hey, I got this new company that I'm doing where we're making like OEM projects for pop culture." And he goes, "I'm looking for like a graphics and an art guy." And I had a job at the time that I actually really liked, but I always liked Dan, like from what I knew of him. And I was like, "Well, why don't you tell me more about that?" And we met, we had a beer, we talked about it. Next thing you know, I had switched over and it was him and I in a room, just doing projects, trying to pitch projects. It was really cool.
So then I guess this leads me into my next question then is, so what's the very first pin that you created? So, and it might, well, let me think how I want this. So I know that there's the Chun-Li and Ryu that you guys did for ThinkGeek. So I know that's not branded FiGPiN, but that's, from what I understand, your very first pin that was produced. But is there an actual pin that was that you designed that has never been released prior to that Chun-Li and Ryu that might have made the drawing board but never actually went anywhere?
That was it, man. Like I had never made a pin before.
Okay.
Right? So when Dan started talking about it, kind of my job at that time was really similar to the job I had before, which was dig in and learn everything you can about this thing we're trying to pitch. And I just found that, the art style that I really liked to do, that I'd kind of built for myself over, 30 years of being an amateur and professional artist, it just fit. Like I could see what the character looked like, and it just, the vector style, kind of the color blocking, the line work. We got those pins back after the first time, and I had no idea if what I did was any good, right? It looked cool on paper or looked good on the computer screen, but I had no idea what it was going to come back like. Yeah. And when they came back, we were like, "Wow, we really like these. Like these are really, really nice." And then Dan started talking about the standing pin idea that he had for a while. And I was like, "Whoa, like I really liked doing this. Like, let's talk more about that." So, although back at the time, what I really liked about that project, strangely enough, is I loved doing the package, making the machine, and like all those buttons, I did all those from scratch. I researched all of the stuff. Even on the back of there's a sticker, a yellow sticker on the back of that machine that has all the legal on it that machine had.
No way, seriously?
Manufacturer. And all the way the little holes are on the back for the venting is all legit.
That's so cool.
It was, the proportions are wrong, right? But so the funny thing about that was there was 2 more pins that they were supposed to sell. That if you
can you share what they were?
Yeah, there was M. Bison and Ken.
Oh my gosh, man.
And why did they release them?
Because the concept is that you could pull out that stage from the screen, and you would buy a new stage with the 2 guys. One of them would have their home stage on it. You could just plop it in and redo the whole box.
That is awesome, man.
Yeah. So somewhere, probably in Dan's garage, there is a copy of that second stage.
Well, if you could let me know the next time he has a yard sale, because I hear that people find some amazing things in his yard sale. I'd love to go ahead and see if we can find that.
I'll keep your number, man. I got you.
I had seen a couple of those on the different channels and such, and I'd seen them and always thought they were really cool. But now knowing this story, I'm gonna have to go on the hunt for them, because like you said, even the art on the box, how cool.
Yeah, that was really fun, man. I don't get to do that anymore, but like there was just something about that project that, I don't know, it was a different kind of light was shined on what we were doing, that it just seemed like there is something here that we need to really like open the hood on and really understand, because it felt different than what we were doing for other people in other projects.
So
So,
then
Eric,
how do you go from think? I'm sorry, Alex, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, so can you kind of walk us through your process of coming up with either the new, art design, or especially when you're working with different licenses, I'm sure they kind of dictate the way the style of the art is, or, what design you have to go with. So how, like, kind of go through your process?
It's actually, as much as it's stayed the same over the years, it's changed in some ways. In one way, the style is the style, right? So we did the first Assassin's Creed and what was it, My Piazza? Like that was sort of me figuring it out. And I felt like we had it pretty well figured out. I think over time we're always learning something new. But
You mean
the
the
idea
Piazza that's right there, or
That big hole?
that's
Should
supposed to
be.
be that spot right there?
yeah, the empty slot, right?
One of you listen, one of few.
So the style is it just is what it is. Like it just sort of we defined the FiGPiN style as a little bigger, and when possible we want to have dimensionality in it, right? Like it's the trend. We would go to a licensing show, right? And Dan and I would say, everybody's going towards chibi, everybody's going towards cutesy, everybody's doing, like all of these different kind of blown up proportions. And, it seemed to me that the ricochet off of that would be to be as real as possible. And then it's sort of like, how do you do that in a pin? Well, that's the real challenge, right? So we kind of shared that idea that realism, as if somebody could pluck that, they just take it right off their screen and say, wow, it looks just like that guy. That's what we really wanted. So when it comes to, Mickey Mouse or Master Chief or, Altair or, LeBron James, right? Like that's kind of the idea, is that's what we want to pour into it, but also not just detail for detail's sake, right? There's something about like keeping it like nice and real. So you wouldn't do, hold on one sec. You wouldn't do,
We're gonna get our first look at some of Eric's pins here.
Oh, I'm so
Yeah.
glad.
these aren't leaks, sorry.
No
But-
problem.
But like you wouldn't just throw a bunch of shading in that guy and ruin how clean and nice and authentic he looks, right? So, but if you're doing this guy, you really want to have all the detail that you see in the movies and on the shows. And that one, like that you got in your hand, that one was a really early one.
Did you happen to have anything to do with this guy?
Yeah.
Dude,
Funny
this one's one of
thing
my
about that
favorite
guy
things.
is, so I'm a big rock guy, right? So
I was gonna say there's a little something hanging above your head over there that I've been meaning to ask you about.
yeah, we can talk about that. But AC/DC, Angus, over the years, has had so many things that he has not liked that the licensors have approved, that he wrestled back control. He wants to see everything. Kind of the Gene Simmons model, right? I mean, I think it was probably, I don't know this for a fact, but this is just one of the things you think you might know. This is probably around the Rubber Ducky era. The Angus of Rubber Ducky. It's probably like, I should probably start checking this stuff. So we sent it to the license, and there's like, well, AC/DC takes a bit because Angus wants to see it, and he's a really busy guy. I was like, wait a second, Angus is going to see this? Like that thing? He's going to check it out, and he's going to go yes or no. And so that's always a pretty cool thing, right?
I mean, no
like
pressure on you, right? To
And you
impress them.
said yes. That's the coolest part. Did you happen to get to meet him or anything like that?
No. That's a nice AP though.
It is. Thank you, Flap, very, very much.
Yeah.
I think I shared with you in a story that I got on the different AC/DC Instagram and all those posts, and I'm like, please let me know when you come to the US. I need to have this pin signed. Like it'd be an epic story if I could.
Yeah, I want to get back into the rock and roll stuff.
That's actually gonna be one of our questions here. But before we go ahead and continue, I just wanted to go ahead and we have Breckenridge that joined us, James Thompson, Statue Fanatic. Thank you for continuing to be here with us. There's a lot of people asking a lot of great questions in here. The one that I did see is actually from I'm Tufu. Yep. So it's one that kind of popped out. Escobar, thank you so much, man. Good seeing you. Vanessa, thanks for being here. But she had asked, have you guys talked about having any of the? I'm not sure if you've seen any of the fan pins. I know Amato gave, the kind of the community, the backdrop or the image to go ahead and create fan pins on it. So do you guys talk internally about, hey, this person really did a great job with this? Like, how can we go ahead and, actually make a fan pin? I mean, has there been any talk about that?
There's a couple of fan pins that you could be talking about. So help clarify for me. Like, give me an example, because I've seen a lot of things. So
I know. I mean, the first one that comes to my head, and I believe that it was Matt Montel, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing his name wrong, but he did like a whole Nintendo line, right? So he had the 8-bit Link, Alucard from Castlevania. I mean, he Mario. I mean, he had a bunch of different pins that he went ahead. I didn't actually make, but he drew them in the same style that you guys go ahead and draw them in. And there's a bunch of people that go ahead and do all different things. So yeah, I just was seeing if you've ever seen any of those before.
I've seen some online,
Yep.
like in social media posts, but they don't come across my desk like in an official manner. But
Okay.
that's interesting. I can try to make that happen, right? Like I'd love to see that stuff.
Man, if you go back and look at some of the fan work that's done, some of the fan-made pins are pretty darn spot on. Like, you would think they were actually, didn't they actually change it where they said fan pin at the bottom because they were so well done?
I've seen some of those. Yeah.
First, it was like confusing. They're like, wait, when is this gonna drop? This pin is so cool, I have to have it. And they're like, oh no, just kidding. This is just a must have.
That just jarred the memory. Yes, of course, I've seen fan pin, right? And some of them look more drawn than others, right? Some of them look maybe a little more filtered. I think in the beginning it was using some filters, right? Later it was more drawing. I haven't seen one in a while.
I haven't. And Matt wasn't the only person that was doing it, but I mean, he definitely like kind of started it off for sure. That I'm aware of, at least. And there's been a lot of people that have been, kind of took it from there and was doing a bunch with it as well. So, but
made an Amato pin.
Yeah, I saw the Amato pin. It's like on his phone or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So actually, I haven't seen that in a while, but I think that's a really good, interesting thing for me to kind of rethink about. I'd like to see more of those.
Next time we go to a flap or an event that y'all are at, I'm gonna have you guys. I'm gonna figure like a green screen or something. I'm gonna take full body with poses. We're gonna hit back in the lab, scan them in, and we're gonna have big fan pins of all y'all.
There you go.
Do a live drawing or something.
I would love that, man. So, we have a favorite question that we ask most collectors, but obviously, since you are part of the ownership of the company, I doubt that you have bought any pins or had to buy any pins. So we'll go ahead and change the question up for you a little bit.
Actually, I just bought some. Before this, I made an order from our warehouse. I just spent $200.
Oh, really?
Wow. What'd you buy?
I bought another set of the NBA, and I bought a couple of Sorcerer Mickeys as gifts. But I buy them like too.
Well, but I'm so you'll see where I'm going with this in a second here.
Yeah,
so if you had to purchase a pin that you would, I'm sure you're aware of the Grail pins that we have, right? So we have the Mike Piazzas, the Golden White Altair, the Golden White Cena, the Wonder Women, we have from ECC, we have some from some of the different Comic-Cons, the Bakugo from the Halloween, those are all Grails. So if you had to purchase on a secondary market, what pin would you want to purchase? You know, that you would definitely want to have, and then I guess how much would you be willing to go ahead and spend on one of those grails?
Well, the first part of the question is easy. I don't even have, so I have one of everything, kind of your wall right there. Yep. I have at least one of everything. Probably, I don't think I have a gold and white Cena. I don't think I have a gold and white Altair. I probably am not willing to pay what they're going for. But I don't have a Piazza in a case. So
Piazza
that would be the one.
And you don't have the backer card with it?
Well, I mean, I have the digital art. I can make one, right? But,
okay, yeah.
But I don't have an official what went out into the world, like wrapped, packaged final pin. I got them in other platings. I got them in like, you know, like screwed up print work. I got all of that, but they're just random sitting in a bin. I don't have Piazza in a box. So I had my top left corner too, man. Big hole.
All right, awesome, awesome. Well, we're searching for the same thing. So if I find
how much would I pay? You know, I don't really know. What are they going for?
The last one that I've seen sold was, I believe, $1,200, and it went on eBay for that. And it also did not have the legit backer card for it. So yeah, it's a pretty hefty price for sure.
You know, this is like a intervention, if I may. Hopefully 2 seconds. We don't have to go too deep into it. But you did mention all of the new NBA pins that just came out.
Yeah.
Those are super cool. I'm excited to get mine in. Looking forward to trying to figure out how to get the chases, which I've been watching people post about. So I'm super excited about those. Everybody's gonna make fun of me because I do this every week. But did you have any part of creating this pin, and do you happen to have a story behind it that maybe we haven't heard just yet?
Well, there's a pin I haven't seen in a while. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was back in the days when FiGPiN wasn't really a thing yet, right? No one knew what it was. So we would make pins of things that of people that we would want to go talk to. And instead of saying, imagine if Steph Curry has a pin, and be like, look, Steph Curry has a pin. You know, there's a couple of, I think, now famous examples of that we were probably not the smartest bunch of guys to do. Like, I believe there was some kind of a dragon trainer. there was some pins that somebody gave back to us that they found out of a closet like at Think Geek.
Yes.
Some Pokemon ones.
Yes.
That I can't remember who it was that gave them back to us, but that was a pretty amazing deal. But like, we made those without anybody's consent, right? Like that's a big fat no-no. But this pin right here, you know, this is the actual pin that got us the Disney license right here.
Really?
And so
I don't think I've ever heard that
to draw this. But we wanted to, we were just trying stuff out, you know. But our factory probably shouldn't have made it for us, and we shouldn't have drawn it and had it made. But but we didn't know any better, right? So
hey, that's really
I guess
cool.
It's one of those, ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
Yes,
absolutely. I mean, we try to get away from that now because we're probably a bigger target now than we were then. But it was funny because we were down there with a meeting with Marvel, and we just happened to have that pin with us, and they said, you know, there's a couple people from Disney that we want you to meet, and they were like, oh yeah, we make pins. There's lots of pins and pins, and then we just took this and we set this on the table, and they just stopped talking. They just
really? That is a very cool story, man.
Very much, by the way, on getting into all of the Disney park stores lately and all of those pins.
Oh, thank you. That's a big one.
Super cool.
How was it working with Disney on this new venture?
Yeah, that's kind of like a real big achievement for us, right? It's a really big milestone.
Amazing.
It's a real good measurement of growth from where we've been to where we are now. And I gotta say, you know, Disney has been it's been a challenge, but worth every minute of it, right? Because I mean, they invented the market, right? So they have a lot to say, and they have every right to be very opinionated about it. It's their characters, and it's in a market and in basically a business that they've created since the 60s, right? What did I read? That they had like some hundreds of thousands of pins that they've made since the 60s. It's just insane. So who are we to come along and say, you always should have been doing Mickey this way. But in the end, I think we're building a really good relationship with them. Steamboat, that's a fun one.
He's super cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really fun. I think that for us, the hard part is we don't really get a chance to slow down and enjoy it as much, because we have the next wave and the next wave and the next wave. And from where I sit is kind of on the front side of everything, where I'm working on things for next year right now. So
yeah,
sometimes I forget when things are released. Like the NBA's been sitting there for a long time in my mind, because I just got done. We got approval for the MLB guys, and so they're going into sampling. And,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, well, that brings up a good segue. So what does that look like when you go ahead and have pins that you're looking at making, and then you draw it, or do you have to draw it first and then go to the licensor, or do they give you images that you can go ahead and interpret into your style? What does that look like for you?
So most licensors have a database full of images, and so actually Charles, who's now working with us, he digs through there and he puts together collections, right? And we call that the validation process. So that a lot of times somebody like Disney or Marvel, they'll want to see your year plan. So you have to show them all the collections and some of the timings of when that stuff's going to come out. The tougher ones are the anime ones, because you deal with a middleman in the States, and then they send it back to Japan, right? And they don't always have this. It's a game of telephone, right? Like every time it passes on, the information gets a little diluted, right? So over there, they're not always sure what they're looking at. They're looking at like, these are just our assets. They don't know. So it makes it a little bit of a challenge, and that takes a little longer. And they don't like us to level the feed or change anything. They just, some of them don't even want us to put shading in there, even though they're shading in the cartoons. So it's always different is kind of the point, right? Everyone is different. When you come to like the sports, you're pulling images off Getty, and that's your inspiration, right? But Disney, they have so many things in their database, and if you can't find anything, they'll send you what you're looking for.
That's
now,
pretty cool.
Disney Parks, on the other hand, they don't want anything out of the database, so they'll say, draw me this character based on model sheets and screenshots. So that's introduced like a whole nother level of challenge for us, where you're really sort of Frankensteining together things to try and make the character look right. There's not one reference.
Yeah.
Right? There's multiple references, which is exciting. It's more pressure, but it's.
Well, I'm sure you get to use a little bit more of your talent then too, right? I mean, it's your creativity at that point that takes advantage, that you can take advantage of, right?
Yeah, I mean, and that's what they want, right? So, I see it as a really good thing, even though it makes life a little more difficult sometimes. Some pain can be good.
Yeah. So then after you go ahead and you look through the images, you go ahead and you draw it, you mock it up, you send it back to the licensor, they give you the approval. What do you do next? I mean, is there a final stamp of approval that you and the licensor have to do before you actually send it off to production, or what happens from there?
So everything that we get greenlit internally, after the licensor says, yes, this is all validated, it comes back to our planning group, which is about 4 or 5 of us. And then we start validating the dates that we want these things to release. And then it turns into an art assignment. And so I have all the guys in the stable, right? And they're all like chomping at the bit, and they say, oh, I really like that one. Can I work on that one? Or this would be really good. And I kind of line them up, and then they go to work, and they're whole thing is then we do an internal approval, which goes to me, and sometimes there's a little bit of feedback, and sometimes it's just send it for approval. And sometimes once it goes back to the licensor, they have to approve our interpretation of their art. And then once they approve that, then it goes into sampling. We send it to the factory, they send it back to us, we approve it, sort of on, like we get them like this, right, in a bag.
Yeah.
We look at how everything looks, and that's how we approve it internally.
Okay.
So it's the prototype process, right? And then after that, once we approve the prototype, then production takes it, and art's kind of done until we get photos of the final product, and then it's moving at that point.
Nice. So, and I guess this brings me to another part of my question is having the opportunity to go ahead and release pins with things that are actually happening in the real world, right? So we have Book of Boba Fett, which you guys were able to go ahead and release while the show was still aired, but you weren't able to do that with The Mandalorian, right? So, we have Street Fighter 6 that was just announced this past week. I'm not even sure if you're able to get that license, but if you were, are you able to pivot enough to go ahead and have a pin come out in conjunction with a movie, with a game, anything that you guys would be able to go ahead and get your hands on that you'd be able to go ahead and, move into production?
It's tough. We're getting closer and closer every year to that. Part of it is access to things that are coming. Lucas, you see pre-orders because they will not show us anything that could be a spoiler.
Yep. Right.
And you would not believe the documents I sign when I download these assets. Like they're coming to get everything I got if I screw that. It ain't just the company. They get everything. Right? They're coming for those. They want this thing too. They're going to take this. Yeah, it's a little. It varies. It's harder and harder. I should say it's getting better actually, because we're getting more and more access. We have more frequent meetings with the licensors to kind of plan ahead.
Okay.
So, I think that's a really good stretch goal for us, is to be selling things when things get released into the world in the other mediums or other media. I'm looking forward to that when we can do it. We work on about a 6-month cycle. So from art to delivery is about 6 months.
Wow.
So,
okay.
Which is quicker than say some 3D models or some of the higher end kind of statues kind of things. But we do 6 months. That is about as fast as we roll.
Nice.
Unless we airship it in, which is expensive.
Yeah, I'm sure. So we've asked everyone this question, and I know Amato's response because we've asked him and we've heard him share this plenty of times. And you probably know the question I'm going to ask when I say Amato's response is, we're going to make everything. So the question that we have for you is there a license or a character that you personally want to go ahead and see be done that you may not have talked about yet with your team, and how that looks like, or even if it's, kind of, not attainable? Is there something that you do want to go ahead and see be put on your guys' dream board?
Well, there's always a kind of a trophy for me, and you'll probably know what it is Snoopy, right? Like Snoopy. But aside from Snoopy, like I think for me that's become sort of the obvious answer. The license that no one's able to get, that has had is maybe not quite as much impact on my life, that you don't see anything licensed from them, is Calvin and Hobbes. I think would be an amazing license to have, right? Bill Watterson just doesn't license, right?
Yeah.
And that's kind of on the cartoon side. I really, over time it was always rock and roll, sports, and cartoons that I grew up with, right? So like the Bugs Bunny stuff was great. The Scooby-Doo stuff was great. I'd love to do more Hanna-Barbera. Obviously Peanuts is like the top of the mountain for me. But Beatles, you know, Eddie from Iron Maiden, like that stuff, just because it's the art challenge for those to really bring those to life would just be, you know, something I'd love to dig into.
Yeah. So, you know, we actually had a question from one of the collectors, and you know, since you're a musician yourself, is there any
some might argue that.
Well, I assume with the lamp that you have in back of you, it's hard to go ahead and deny that you are not a musician. But with you know, is there any either musicians or bands that you have planned for the future? And you don't have to share which it is if there is something planned. And if not, is there a musician or band that you do want to go ahead and be able to see if you can get it onto, you know, into the realm of FiGPiN?
We don't have any actual plans. I can say that for certain. But I don't think it's too many phone calls away. For us, it's a little bit about having the right place to place them, you know, to reach the right audience. And the second part is just capacity, right? Being able to create them all. Like the music stuff, like if you look at all the pins, we kind of grade them in art effort. That's how we schedule. That's how we sort of do a lot of our planning. And anytime you're interpreting a high-res image where there's a lot to figure out, the puzzle's a little bit harder, like that is kind of our A level. And we have to balance that out because otherwise it's too much A level. You can't create as many SKUs, right? You cannot fill out all the shelf space that everybody needs. So music, you know, is all really A level stuff. But I mean, just off the top of my head, right? Like the Beatles with the skinny ties all the way up to Sgt. Pepper's, like there's four sets awesome. Right there, you know.
Do you mind if I share with you some of the our viewers what they're commenting?
Yes, please.
So we have will.i.am. It has at least commented at least 3 times that I've seen so far of Slipknot.
Okay, those would be great characters.
we have someone that just said Sgt. Pepper's from the Beatles, Eddie Vance, Kurt Cobain.
Yeah.
Linkin Park.
Okay.
Beatles, Alice Cooper, Creedence Clearwater, the Backstreet Boys coming from Michael Carrier, which is I wouldn't really pin him for that, but okay.
Casey's in. I got a FiGPiN hunter for life.
We have Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness. We have Metallica, Spice Girls box set, Guns N' Roses. Yeah, I mean there's a lot of people having fun with what they want to see it, you know, with that question. So
I mean, I think I would probably start with Prince, you know. You know, personally, you know, I know that it's got some controversy to it, but a Michael Jackson set would be incredible with the sort of the life of Michael.
That would
be cool. Different stages would be incredible. You know, Bob Marley, right, would be amazing. Ozzy.
Yeah.
Eddie from Maiden is classic stuff, you know, like it could go on and on. So I kind of have this, I have a really weird, we've started, if we end up doing somebody like Prince, then we've gone into 2 people of Erik's birthday box set, which means all the people I share a birthday with, right? So Iverson, I have the same birthday as Iverson, same birthday as Prince, you know, then it would be like Dean Martin and Tom Jones, and then like Anna Kournikova, and that would be my box set, right? Of all the people I share my birthday with.
I love it, man. That's awesome, dude.
I wouldn't make it in, right? Like it would be them, not me.
I'm gonna have to look it up too as my birthday. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I guess I'll ask this question before we kind of pivot into some other stuff that we have on the agenda. But how much do you have to keep up with like pop culture? You know, and obviously I'm asking because we have, you know, the Hashira set, you know, releasing tomorrow. So what does that look like for, you know, for you and the team to go ahead and stay up to date with, you know, what's popular, what's not popular, you know, what does that look like for you guys?
Well, it's impossible for any one person to do it, right? So I think that we have a team that has a pretty wide variety of interests. Okay, here's a leak for you. One of our artists is a big fan of DC Comics, right? And there's a big movie coming up that there could be something coinciding with that. That's more than one pin.
What? We're gonna have more Batman pins? I'm loving that.
Yeah, they might even come in a box.
What the FiGPiN guys, you just heard it. There might be a box set of some Batman pins.
Might be.
Might be. I have to stress might be, but that's awesome, man.
To answer your question though, let's move on from the leaks, right? But so to answer your actual question, Charles, who does a lot of the planning, he watches a lot of the animes. It's part of his job, right? To really kind of dig in and know what's important to get out of there. I can't do it, right? Just not enough time. No one person can do it. So it's, I always appreciate that. I was talking to Derek, one of our artists today, and he's not necessarily a big anime guy, but he was watching an anime that he was working on because he didn't know it, right? And he wanted to kind of infuse the energy of it into his artwork, which I think is like, that's the right way to do it. So, keeping up with all of it, impossible. But that's why I'm sticking with the sports and music. That's what I'm already watching. Actually, anime to me is Speed Racer, right? And Wave Motion Gun, and from
well, I mean, so Astro Boy and Speed Racer, they're all in that same time frame. So I mean, how close is Astro Boy? Was that you, or did your team do the Astro Boy sets?
That was actually a request from Bait. They wanted to do it, and they held the license for pins. So they came to us, and
cool.
They had all the assets and all the rights to it. So that was pretty
awesome.
easy.
I'm gonna have to figure out where to get those white and gold ones, or the ones that just came out.
Well, I just got one for you, man. So
nice. Yeah, I need to figure out where to get those. I don't think they sold out at the Comic-Con, but one of these.
You're good at manifesting, dude. Right? Like, what else do you want?
So so we have the Demon Slayer. Those are cool.
We need some 90s live Ninja Turtle pins.
I'm a fan of the Ninja Turtles, so
yes,
I will be pushing for those.
Get the real life movie ones. Get Kino, get Splinter, get all of them in April.
That's awesome.
Okay.
So we have Demon Slayer, releasing tomorrow. So the 5 Hashiras. Erik, do you have a favorite one? And for those watching, if you want to go ahead and drop a comment in for us. And I do apologize, guys. For some reason on my computer, the chat is not working, so I have to switch back, to go ahead and see the comments. But if you want to drop what your favorite Hashira was. So Erik, do you have, out of those 5 pins, one that you kind of stands out to you?
Let me see here. It would be based on the way they look only.
Yep.
And Rengoku.
I haven't even looked at the comments yet, but I'm sure that's going to be probably one of the top ones that are going to.
I'm not really taking a big chance there, right? Of not being in the in crowd. Like,
yep. No, Rengoku. I mean, what an amazing character, for sure in the anime, but definitely. I like him. I just like the style that you guys put him into. So yeah, definitely great job. I mean, great job with all of them, but definitely amazing with that one.
Sure. I would say that Rengoku. We did some experimenting on him, so I think that at some point we'll see kind of a new technique used with him even in the future. So
cool, very cool.
Maybe not on the common, but
so something else that came up this week. There was a GameStop exclusive that has not been announced yet, but obviously people go to GameStop and they ask for FiGPiNs, any new FiGPiNs that are coming out. And then there's a Bakugo and then a Deku that was pre-orderable, and one of them was listed as a GameStop exclusive. So It has now been pulled from GameStop. You cannot pre-order those anymore. But any hint? I mean, you don't have to share what it is or if that's true or not. But is that close to going ahead and being announced, or is that something further down the road?
Let me look.
And please let it be their stealth suits, please.
They're which ones?
From the new movie, they have their stealth suits that they're like all black with their accent colors. So Bakugo has like the reddish orange, and Deku has the blue.
I see some My Hero on the calendar coming up. I don't know which ones they are because I've seen when coming through my.
I mean, while you have the calendar up, if you just want to look at my Korra pins when those are coming out, Amato said like months ago that they were coming out, but still waiting.
I'm nervous of dead air time, so that's.
So why you're looking that up? So the Ultra, are you excited about it? I mean,
oh my God, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
This has been a passion project for a long time, and we just recently weren't happy. We delayed it just a bit because we just weren't happy with one small detail, because this has got to be perfect.
Yeah.
And while some things, when they're tagged for shelf space somewhere, sometimes perfection is the enemy of progress, right? And so you can't go out 100% on everything, but this one, 100% of what we think is 100% all the way. So we did change it. It set it back just a touch, but all the checks have been checked and it's ready to rock. So I'm pretty pumped about it.
We're excited to go ahead and have that announcement. Hopefully, come within the next couple of months here. But yeah, I'm chomping at the bit for it, man. So we're excited to go out and see what you and your team have put together for sure for it.
I would love to actually give you a date, but that's just, I don't keep those in my head.
Yeah, no, we're good, man. We're totally okay. So we had Simpsons unlock last week. So Battle and Alex, how did you guys do with them? Did you get any of them?
I just got the Homer Krusty and the Edna, I believe.
Very nice. Alex, how did you do?
I ordered them, but I didn't get them till after unlock day. So.
Oh.
That's okay. Yeah, it was. I had a busy Friday, so I was not able to go ahead and do all of them during the unlock time. And I think I actually I got to a spot where I was able to at 4:29 my time on Friday, which was a minute before the Homer and Krusty was able to be unlocked. So yeah, it was a good day. I enjoyed it. I mean, Erik, those pins definitely are amazing for sure. So
I think those are a really good example of not infusing too much of our style to ruin it, right? Like, so I have this. Here's a little art insight to our world, right? I have this acronym for the group this is funny because you brought up that Angus pin. It's ACDC, right? Our whole approach is ACDC. It's authentic to the character. So the Simpsons is like, don't just throw a bunch of shading in there that doesn't exist. If it's there, get it. If it's not. Like, that's the art part, right? Like, decide what makes that character and be authentic to it, because that's what people want.
Yeah.
The C is cleanliness, right? Like, you can make a lot of noise in a pin by adding lines and printing and shading that it can be the real difference of something working and not working. And also cleanliness for the factory. This factory is really a team of artists too. The way they make these, this is no machine. Like, these are humans over there doing this, and they pick the best of the best to do FiGPiNs. Like, they are a true art team over there. Kind of the unsung heroes of all of this, really.
Yeah.
So the cleaner we do it for them, the cleaner we're going to get it back, right? And beyond just respect for them as humans, but like, we all want to do a great job. Let's all help each other do a great job. The D is dimensional. Like, get dimension in there to the appropriate level, right? Fake out the eye so that this flat little thing can look like it has shading to it. Some of my favorite ones to solve that puzzle, I see it right over your left shoulder with the Incredibles. With these smooth suits to try and get shading in there with lines breaking it all up was a real challenge. And I deleted more than I actually ended up with. I deleted it more times than I drew it.
Really?
Say that. So,
and if I can just jump in there, Holland's Scoops Pins, he had shared a photo of a video of the Figment pin, and I was like, is this a 3D pin? Just from looking at it, from when he was going, I'm like, oh my god, they did a 3D pin. Like they made it have like a rounded stomach. Until he did that side profile, I'm like, holy cow, that pin looks absolutely amazing for sure. But definitely a very cool aspect to it. And then you talk about dimension. Kerrigan, right, from the Blizzard line. I'm still amazed how that thing even goes ahead, and I thought that it was pieces of metal that were behind the the pin. It's her character. It's definitely so amazing how you guys did that on her.
That one took a few months off my life, to be honest with you.
Well, hey man, it paid off because it's definitely one of the coolest pins that I to dimensionally one of the coolest pens that I've seen.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that a lot. Really,
the level of detail in it, kind of talking about the shading, like just down here in the base of it, you can see it. I was looking at this Homer, and in the very corner of his head, like you can't see it unless you really turn the light, and you can see just like in the back picture, you can actually see just that shading, but it's so minute, so detailed. It's cool.
That's that authentic, really, really sell that cel-shaded thing, right? Like that's part of the puzzle. The last one is just consistency, right? Like there's a consistency within FiGPiN, but there's a consistency within a line of pins. So if you have Homer shaded one way, and then there's another Homer, does it look the same, right? Do they come from the same world? Even probably more challenging is, since you brought up Kerrigan, is bringing together some of the other Blizzard ones. Do they look like they come from the world of Blizzard, right? And does one not look like the other? The other pin that really, oh my God, this is just flooded back memories. The other pin that just about did it for me was the Diva XL. Diva with the back.
Yep.
That one, guys, I almost gave up, man. That was almost the end.
Really? Tell us, why was it so difficult?
It's just too hard, man. It's like you get limited amount of colors, and she has all those logos on her suit that have all kinds of different colors, and you're trying to do basically two characters. One is the big mech that has its certain set of colors it needs to look dimensional, because like every color you use needs a partner color. If you have pink, you need pink shadow, and then you need pink highlight, right? So then you put her in there, and then she's got all her colors that just make up her suit, and then you got all those logos. It was beyond, like, it's probably more than we should have done, but
I know I have it somewhere, and I want to see it because I can imagine that pin giving you some heck.
It was rough.
So we do have someone that just posted something, and because I like the pin itself, and it's quite difficult to go ahead and get now. The story of Randy.
Yeah.
So how did that come into play? What does that look like, and how does that design even happen?
Randy, where did Randy come from? So that was
it's the Holy Diver collection.
I just had to look it up.
There he is. Very strangely, that one was really hard. You wouldn't think so with all the little boxes, but that one was really, really hard. I didn't know much about Square Enix, maybe. Were they the license holder on that? They were making a collector pack or something, and they came to us and they wanted to make that thing. I'm not really sorry. It's hard to remember.
It does come in a collection box, and I'm trying to see if I have it.
They were like some little spaceship pins too, and like a booklet or something.
Yeah, there was a booklet. There was an art book. I think there might have been some like postcard or some graphic cards that they came with it, and then the pin as well.
I didn't realize until we were working on it. I was like, what are we doing? Right? Like there's this pixel brick guy.
Yeah.
And then I started reading about it because I didn't have any reference point for that game. And then it was all like based on, you know, Ronnie James Dio and everything. I was like, well, okay, I can get into this. So then I started learning about it. And I said, it's like, oh, it's just a pixel brick thing. Like this will be easy. Oh man, that one really tripped me up. There were some speed bumps on that guy, but I don't does anybody know how many of those were made?
There was, give me a second. Well, I guess, yeah, I'm sure there's some people in the chat that can also answer this question quicker than I can. There is 7,000 made.
I'm gonna have to find one of those too.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, well,
we haven't made one like it since, but I would like to. I mean, that was pretty cool. And he's attached to the rock world and sort of his inspiration.
Definitely very cool, man. Yeah, so I got to stop here for a second because Statue Fanatic, man, thank you guys so much. So again, we appreciate everyone watching for joining us. Two things. One, Erik, we're almost an hour and 10 minutes into it. I don't want to be disrespectful to your time. Do you still have some more time for us? Or
yeah.
Okay, awesome. And two guys, we appreciate everyone's staying with us. So if you do have the opportunity to hit the like button for us, we do appreciate the support as well. What else do we have, Alex? What else do we have on the agenda here?
So we have an exciting announcement.
Yeah, definitely.
I am super excited about. We went ahead and snagged ourselves another sponsor. So thank you to Jason and Sandy from Pins on Fire. They are now going to sponsor us, and we have a lot of cool things coming for March. So please stay tuned to hear about our giveaways that are coming for March.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys have tuned in today, but Jason over at Pops and Pins has had some wild drops, some mystery boxes. Pins on Fire today had some wild drops, mystery boxes. So super excited to have them. Thank you all very much for everything y'all do.
I love to hear all those names, right? It's such a great community, and I've gotten to know those guys over the years, and it's awesome that they're like taking part in what you guys are doing too. It's awesome.
Yeah,
we love it. It's really cool.
So Erik, so you might not know this, but we kind of all started at with FiGPiN Boosters. It's a Facebook group. Yeah. And I joined that community. I believe I was the 24th person that joined that group. Chasers, obviously still being the bigger group, they might have been at 1,000 people at that point. So I mean, Chasers has definitely grown as well. But with a lot of support in the community, FiGPiN Boosters was our home for quite a while. And then thanks to Alex with and inspiration from you guys with all of the acronyms, Alex said, hey, let's go ahead and come up with a different name so we can separate what we do here on a weekly basis from FiGPiN Boosters. And she was like, WTF, I can't figure out a name. And then she's like, wait a second, what the FiGPiN?
I love it.
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a cool, kind of origin story for us. And Battle and Alex have been with me for since the beginning of it. So yeah, it's definitely been a fun time, and we're excited to have Pins on Fire join us. So they're going to be our monthly sponsor for March, and hopefully maybe even moving into the future. We do have some other retailers that have reached out to us, and we're now, I think that we've figured out kind of what we're looking for. We can go ahead and kind of lay out that groundwork, and we're excited to have Pins on Fire as well as Pops and Pins be sponsors. Pops and Pins for our FiGPiN Boosters page, and then Pins on Fire being for our What the FiGPiN group here. So thank you guys so much. That was definitely, and Alex, thank you for setting that all up. Great job doing that.
That's amazing. So Jason and Sandy, we've gotten to know really from the very beginning. They introduced themselves really early, and they're just great people. that's a great partner for you guys. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Jason, I got to know a little bit at Emerald City this last year, but I don't think I'd spent much time with, although I think I had met him, and him and his wife and I and another group, we kind of hung out at Emerald City. So that was really fun too. So it's great to see, all these good people coming together. I love it.
Definitely. And I mean, I guess to just throw something else in there, one of the things, you saw, I kind of showed you a little bit my collection there, and I've been part of other collector communities. I have not been so close to so many people that I've created friendships with. I mean, I had to go to New Mexico for a totally different event. Battle was gracious enough to be like, hey, I'd love to meet you in person, let's go ahead and do it. So it's definitely been a very cool collection to go ahead and have such an amazing community that you're actually able to build friendships out of it. So I mean, that's totally all on you guys. So we appreciate FiGPiN for doing more than just having awesome art and pins. It's definitely brought an amazing community together.
I think it's too generous of you to say it's all on us. I think we will give you our best, and then you guys take it from there, and you guys elevate it. So thank you.
Well, I know, speaking personally and from hearing from a bunch of other people, I think FiGPiN has really, a lot of us found it right when COVID hit. So it kind of really brought us COVID blues and really gave us something to, give us hope, basically. I mean, I was one of those people that, COVID blues was a real thing, and, found FiGPiN and started my obsession, and it really gave me something to look forward to. And then I found this great community. So thank you.
Oh, of course. Thank you. Actually, thank you more than us. Thank you so much.
So we do have 2 giveaways that we're doing, and one of them was hosted by Dr. Graybush, and he went ahead and created this on the Reddit page. So if you are not part of FiGPiN's Reddit, please go ahead and make sure that you go onto Reddit and check them out. But Dr. Graybush went ahead and is giving away a Naruto pin, and he went ahead and had Levi pick out the winner.
Levi.
Yep. So let me go back to the message that Levi sent me, because he went ahead and did the drawing before the show. And Cutie Storm, who Levi and myself, we have not heard that name before. So Cutie Storm, you are the winner. Congratulations. You're going to win that Naruto pin. It is, I'm pretty sure, a max boosted Naruto. So congratulations again. Please make sure you reach out to Dr. Graybush. Congratulations. And then on a more exciting note, we actually have a giveaway that we're doing here, and it's thanks to Erik. So Erik, is there we've asked this question to you, privately, and you had shared a bunch of pins with us, but the first one that you had put at the top of the list, and I'm not sure if it was in order, but you shared, was the very first Star Wars pin, which is the Luke on Tauntaun.
Yeah, that one was just a different level of milestone for me, not only in the license and kind of in my memory banks of childhood and some of the things that I'm a fan of, but also that one actually really pushed me artistically to get 2 characters in one. We were learning how to do fur, it was a lot. So that one launched a lot of Star Wars for us. And so that one just was kind of a real pivotal moment for us.
Yep.
It is still one of the best, most detailed pins.
Oh, man, thank you.
Yeah.
You guys know I didn't used to wear glasses, but I got to look at these. The pins are little. I got to figure it out, man. I'm a glasses guy now.
I hear you, man. I totally hear you on that one. The eye doctor keeps telling me I have to start wearing glasses more and more. So I'm trying to go ahead and push it off. So Erik has been gracious enough to go ahead and do something with a Luke on Tauntaun to go ahead and give it away. Erik, do you want to go ahead and are we gonna sign it? What's your plan, man?
Whatever the winner wants. Whatever the winner wants, right?
Okay.
Like I don't want to say like, hey, check it out. I signed something. If they want me to, I will.
All right, guys. So we're gonna go ahead and give away a Luke on
I
Tauntaun.
have one sitting right here.
Look at that.
Oh man, I want to sign.
That's awesome.
It's such an amazing pin. Well, I guess, talking about Star Wars. So two things. One, did you see the final episode of Book of Boba?
I'm about 3 episodes behind, so
So what I won't spoil anything.
you can, because I've seen all the assets, so I already know.
Okay. So if there's ever an opportunity to go ahead and bring the XL pins out, it's definitely having Boba riding on the Rancor.
Yes.
So just throw it out there. If there's ever a chance to have XL ever be put back on the table, I think it would be an amazing pin.
I'll put that in the memory bank. I got that. Yeah. That seems like it's pretty obvious once you see it, right?
Very true.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, well, Alex, what do you want to do for giving this away? This Luke on Tauntaun, because again, guys, this is one of Erik's favorite pins. Obviously, it means a lot to him. So what are you thinking here?
I don't know. I have a deck of playing cards here. I could pick a random card.
I like your thought there.
All right.
All right, so let's go ahead and have Alex go ahead and shuffle these cards. She's gonna pick a random card, and so then, guys, if in the chat, if you can go ahead and please give your guess, we will do our best to go ahead and go in order here. Again, this giveaway is for a Luke on Tauntaun, and if you want Erik to sign it, he'll go ahead and do that, but you will be winning a Luke on Tauntaun. So we already have people going ahead and giving you picked the card yet, Alex?
I have a card, and I'm going to send you and Battle a picture in our chat.
Okay. All right, so we have woo. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. The Queen of Hearts, 7 of Hearts, the 7 of Hearts, 4 of Hearts, Jack of Hearts, 9 of Diamonds, 4 of Club, 8 of Spades, 9 of Hearts. Everyone's going at it now. 6 of Spades, 5 of Diamonds, 2 of Hearts, Ace of Clubs, Queen of Hearts, King of Spades. We have Najiri, 8 of Spades, 6 of Spades, 3 of Spades, 3 of Diamonds, 9 of Hearts, 4 of Diamonds, 10 Hearts, Diamond King.
There we go.
Diamond King. All right, that was, let me see. Oh my gosh, I lost it. Where is it?
It was a Speed Dragon Ball. So
just Dragon Ball. Awesome,
Nice.
man. Well, congratulations. So if you would reach out to Erik, is it all right they reach out to you, or would you like them to reach out to me and I can go ahead and just forward to you what they want?
Either way, doesn't matter.
All right, so SP Dragon Ball, I actually know him.
John,
He's an amazing
right?
person. So definitely a great person to have this. Erik is willing to sign the pin if you like it.
Oh, SP will do it. I'm sure he'll probably want it.
Definitely. So Erik, I gotta say, man, it is such a pleasure to go ahead and get to know you on a more personal level. Just the insight that you've given us into, what it looks like from an artist perspective. And then kind of your path from having your first artwork be, produced for you in 5th grade and into a library, to where you're at today. It's definitely been a pleasure to go ahead and hear your story, man. So thank you for joining us. Honestly,
it's my pleasure. Thank you, guys, and thank you so much for being such great fans and spending all of your free time doing this. It's amazing. Like, thank you for this is promoting what we do. So I'm probably more thankful for you than anything.
Yeah, man.
I mean,
Well,
we're
yeah,
still waiting for that FiGPiN official sponsorship. So
Okay, you send me a
We
note.
want to be mentioned on that person, though.
All right.
They need to know where your peeps.
So, Erik, is there anything that you wanted to go ahead and finish off with?
If there's
That
anybody in
chorus time.
Seattle in a couple of weeks, my band's playing at the El Corazon.
that's awesome.
You should come check it out with a Cure band and a Susie and the Banshees band.
Awesome, man. Is there any social media or websites that they can go ahead and check you out on that we can go ahead and share with the group?
Yeah, I got 2 bands. One's called the JV that has that little logo on that sweatshirt right there.
Awesome.
You'll see that there. And then we got a new one called Punk Rushmore that is like the Mount Rushmore punk, which is the Ramones, the Sex Pistols, the Clash, and the Dead Kennedys only. And that band's kind of up and coming too. And so if you guys ever see that, give us a follow. And if we're ever in your neck of the woods, come check us out.
You got it.
Very cool. And Erik, I am so sorry. There is one person that went ahead and that I asked if they had any questions for.
Okay.
And he did respond back to me, and I totally forgot to ask you that question.
Sure.
Is there any artwork that you have outside of FiGPiN that is still in production, or something that you have that is still attainable for collectors to go ahead and support you and your work?
Not really. This is it. I mean, I have a couple of fun
we
things
can't
out
go to
there.
your grade school and get the 5th grade
Hey, maybe they still have it. I don't know.
Been checked
If
out.
they do, it's got it. They're gonna have to replace the yarn, right? I think. Here's an interesting one. I think we have a lot of crossover, right, of fans with Funko. If you ever go up to Everett and go on the kind of the Funko journey, the pilgrimage out to the headquarters, at the job I had that Dan kind of called and I left, I designed a statue for a client that's up in Everett on the corner.
Okay. Well, Calvin is going to go ahead and be all over looking at your statue, man.
It's a legit statue. It's like 15 feet tall. It's of a kid throwing a paper airplane out over the buildings downtown. So that's one of the things, cool. It's my own hometown that I every time I'm down there, I take a detour and I go check it out. It's really cool.
You know what? I'll share right now that if anyone is able to go ahead and grab a picture of that, you have to be in the picture itself. We'll go ahead and do some giveaway for sure. And it'll be a good pin. But yeah, if anyone is in Everett, especially with Erik's, band playing, and you can grab a picture, a selfie with the statue that Erik, was created, we'll go ahead and make sure that we'll do a giveaway for that person.
Hook you up.
I don't know the address, but I could send it to you.
Hey, let them figure it out, man.
Scavenger hunt, right?
Yeah, Google's a great thing, man. It helps you. Go ahead. They'll find your band. They'll walk drunkenly after the concert to the place.
It does. Right? It doesn't. That project was a long time ago, and for me, it's just a feel good thing, right? Like,
hey man, you got to go ahead and help
where I spend all of my time. This room is where I am always, and so supporting FiGPiN the way you guys already do is more than good for me. So thank you, but thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
Heck, I'll say that too. If anybody posts a picture of being at Erik's concert, either a video or him in it, we'll do a giveaway for that too.
I'll start putting some pins in my bag just in case I run into.
There you go. That's sweet. So chance to win there, and if you see him there, that's awesome.
There you go.
And then Erik, did you want to share your your Instagram or Twitter if you have that, or Facebook that you do for? I know it's FiGPiN Art Dude that you kind of go by. Well, it's FiGPiN.Art Dude, right?
It is. It's kind of a funny story. When we first started, I'm not much on social media, as you probably, if you follow me on FiGPiN Art Dude, there's not a whole lot of activity happening. But it was funny because like some of the early adopters, they were like, you got to get a FiGPiN handle, right? Like, and I was like, I don't know, and so they kind of helped me. There was all these names that they were trying. I just like, God, none of those really fit like my personality. And I was like, I'm more of like an art dude. And they're like, well, there you go. Right. That's your name right there.
I do. Love it.
Yeah. Like there was like the maestro and all this stuff that I just was like, no. That doesn't work for me.
That's awesome.
Art dude though, sign me up.
Oh.
Hey, I like it, man.
Thanks.
Alex, do you have anything to finish the show off with us for today?
No, but I'm gonna announce who we have for next week.
Ooh.
Yes, please do.
So not only do we have a very exciting show tonight with Erik here, but next week we also have another very exciting show, and we loved him so much when he jumped on Wrecking Ball's interview. So we brought back Holland Hayes is going to be next week. So
I'll
Mr. Scoop himself is going to be on our show. So we're really looking forward to that. So it'd be cool to get his insight and a little more background on Disney aspect of it. So excited there.
Killer.
Very cool. And Battle, do you have anything to finish the show off, my friend?
Erik, thank you so much for your time. To everybody watching, thank you very, very much. You're why we're here every week. John, Alex, always a pleasure to see you.
Can I ask one question?
Absolutely,
Yeah.
man.
What was each of your first FiGPiN?
I'll go first. I'm pretty sure mine was this Goku right
Are we all
here.
grabbing it? Okay.
Oh yeah, that one's crazy.
I mean, that one jumps off the page. I saw it and I was like, man, that is the coolest thing. I had to get it. And then
nice.
downhill from there.
Oh, I see an XL. Oh yeah, all night. Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll share a quick story with you. I unofficially started collecting FiGPiN in June or July of 2017.
Okay.
And I'm not sure, Erik, if you know the significance of that time frame, at least of 2017. I'm shared with you that Dragon Ball is my favorite anime out of all time. I was on Best Buy's website. I saw that there was this box set coming out. Had no clue anything about FiGPiN. I actually still have the pickup sticker on that box set, but this is the very first FiGPiN. This is not the FiGPiN that's in because it's still sealed. So I don't even know. I could have number 1 out of 5,000 of that in that box, but this was my very first FiGPiN that I started collecting with, that I didn't know that I was collecting FiGPiN.
It's a lot to be number 1 and win number 2 pin.
Yeah, that one that brings back a lot of memories from a long time ago. That's a good one, man. And you bought it at the time, right? Like you didn't buy that later.
It was $35 that I got. So I got socks, which I've never even seen the socks because they're in the box still. I got socks, a pint glass, some shot glasses, and the FiGPiN out of it.
Nice. I love it.
It's awesome.
So again,
we were trying to figure out our birthday the other day as a company, right?
Yeah.
And we were debating whether that was it, or if it was Piazza, or if it was a time where we started developing it more. So I don't think we have an answer yet, but
I will go ahead and I will search for the pickup date because I had pre-ordered that. So whatever the pickup date was, is officially when it was actually available to the public. I can go ahead and look up the date for you for sure.
Well, we have the PO. You don't have to dig it out of the box. It's okay. But we just couldn't decide. Maybe you guys could send your opinions in. What do you think?
That'd be cool. Definitely.
Can we do a birthday shindig for FiGPiN?
Well, I would love to do that. Some might want a cake party. I might want a keg party. Well, maybe we can.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess we'll need to figure out when FiGPiN was founded, like for sure company. Then are you guys going to do like a 10-year, a 20-year celebration and like a 20th anniversary pin or something sweet like that?
I think I have some thought bubbles appearing on screen, maybe.
Nice. Heard it here from you.
I should get out of here, right? The leaks are at the surface.
Yep. So Erik, we go ahead and finish off every show. Since we did originate from FiGPiN boosters, we always go ahead and finish off every show with all of us. Battle always is off key with this. So I count down from 3 to 1 and we say boost awesome. It's actually, if you look at the flop coin, it is front and center of the coin where it says boost awesome. So we go ahead and that's how we finish.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Yep.
Boost awesome.
So we finish off every show with that. Again, Erik, it's been a pleasure. To everyone that's watching, thank you so much. Erik, we're at an hour and a half. This is the longest episode that we've done. So I truly appreciate your time, and hopefully it's not interfering with the rest of your day.
No, it's great.
And
I've had a great time. I've had a great time. So thank you guys so much.
Definitely. Well, I hope that in the future, if there is something that we can go ahead and help support you with, and you'd like to go ahead and come back on, we'll definitely be more than happy to have you. So
maybe I can bring on some team members with me next time.
We would love that.
Amazing.
For sure.
Cool.
Definitely. All right, guys. Have a great night. We will see you next Tuesday with Holland, Mr. Scoops himself. Have a great evening. On 3, 2, 1. Boost awesome.
Boost awesome.
Y'all have a good one now.
All right. Cheers, everybody.
Good night.
All right.